I said, look at the campaign
you
contributions.
said they bought, or do you think they
Senator,
bought?
you need to focus on this bill instead of trying to distort my Twitter.
Last
you
time one of my
you were
colleagues
quoting
a crook,
what a Marxist in Chicago said
and
about
what
me.
evidence do you
make
have
no
that she's
sense.
a crook?
I said there is massive amount of campaign contributions coming into this Congress from the crypto industry.
Do you want to apologize to Senator Gillibrand?
I do not want you to have to apologize for passing legislation
do you want to
that
apologize
destroys
to
our
Senator
economy.
Gillibrand for calling
You are distorting
crook?
what I said, just like you did in the last hearing. You're wasting everybody's time, Senator.
You're a whack job.
Senator,
you
are wasting.
Well, I think we are
next level.
Okay, did you just see that? That was
Senator?
Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana in a Senate hearing on crypto regulation. And whether you follow politics or not, whether you even care about crypto, this is something you need to see. I want to be upfront. I have an opinion on this. I think Senator Kennedy was the most honest person in that room, and I'll tell you exactly why after we watch the full thing.
Here's what gets me.
Washington loves to pretend. They love to sit in those chairs, speak in circles, and make you feel like serious work is being done. Kennedy walked in and cut straight through that. No fluff, no performance, just uncomfortable questions that nobody else was willing to ask. And yes, it gets wild. It gets personal. Someone gets called a whack job. On the record. In the United States Senate. So you'll want to stay for all of this. If you're new here, hit subscribe. We talk real politics, real reactions, no filter. Let's watch the whole thing and I'll break it all down after.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am. Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've listened with great interest today, and here's what I hear you saying. The four folks to my left, I hear you saying that digital assets are different. Digital assets hold great promise. Digital assets need special rules. I agree with that. The obvious question is, what should those rules be, and to what extent should we allow you to draft them? I've also heard some of you say that digital assets represent the next generation of the internet. Well, we let the current generation of the internet draft their own rules. And frankly, it looks like what we got as a result looks like somebody knocked over a urine sample. Congress can't even agree on basic legislation dealing with privacy on the internet. How the hell are we going to tackle this? But I hear what you're saying. I hear Mr. Painter, as usual, if you follow him on social media, you know, all politicians are crooks. Very helpful. I want to direct most of my questions to Professor Massad. Is that how you say your name?
Massad.
Mr. Massad. I'm really worried we're going to get this wrong. We don't know, we in Congress and our staffs don't know as much as the professionals in digital assets know. And I don't see how we can possibly catch up. Tell me more about your idea of having the SEC. Well, first, I don't want to run out of time here, but why is the digital assets industry so scared of being regulated by the SEC?
Well, I think we need to step back, Senator.
Briefly, please.
They don't want everything treated as a security because they don't want that entire framework to apply, but that's also because the SEC did fail to try to customize its rules to adapt for this technology, and it should do that. And you've got leadership at the agencies now who are working on those things.
You're suggesting that we turn to two of our agencies, one of which is the SEC, and say, you have expertise. Before we take a crack at a bill, you come up with a bill, with rules, with regulations. Tell us how to do this. Because I hear you saying in some cases digital assets are commodities, in some cases they're securities.
Congress needs to fill the gap, which is if it's not a security, who's going to create a regulatory framework for it? So you do need to fill that. But these questions about exactly which is when is it a security, when is it not a security, how do we customize the rules, what should we do about DeFi, a lot of that should really be left to the agencies. You could establish some principles, but I wouldn't write detailed rules.
Have you looked, Professor, at Congressman Hill's legislation?
I have in detail.
What do you think?
I think it's got a lot of problems. I think it's 236 pages of regulatory arbitrage opportunities for creative lawyers, and I used to be one that did that kind of stuff.
Made a lot of money, did you?
I did, but
Mr. Painter, do you think Senator Gillibrand is a crook?
No, and I do not think all politicians are crooks. And
why did you call her a crook?
I did not call her a crook. Now, Ms. Senator, you need to
here's
focus
what
on
I'm
this
looking
bill.
right now.
You're doing this again. You did it the last
published a
hearing.
tweet that
You
said
need to
Senator
read the
Gillibrand's
bill.
role in stablecoin regulation, $217,000 in crypto donations. You tweeted that.
Yes, I do.
And then you said, the crypto industry is buying Congress and the White House. This won't end well. Why do you think the crypto industry is buying Senator Gillibrand?
I said, look at the campaign contributions from this industry.
You think they've bought her?
No, I said, look at the campaign
You said
contributions.
they bought her. Do you think they bought her?
Senator, you need to focus on this bill instead of trying to distort my Twitter.
You called one of my
you were
colleagues a
quoting
crook,
what a Marxist in Chicago said
And
about
what
me.
evidence do you
make
have
no
that she's
sense.
a crook?
I said there is massive amount of campaign contributions coming into this Congress from the crypto
Do
industry.
you want to apologize
You need-
to Senator Gillibrand?
I do not want you to have to apologize for passing legislation
want to
that
apologize
destroys
to
our
Senator
economy.
Gillibrand for calling her
You
a
are
crook?
distorting what I said, just like you did in the last hearing. You're wasting everybody's time, Senator.
You're a whack job.
Senator,
You are
are
a
wasting.
Major League
Well, I think we are.
everyone's
next
time.
level
we-
whack job.
I think we
Is
are.
this middle school, Senator?
Senators and witness. Thank you both.
I
for
think
your
you
part-
should apologize, Senator
I think,
Gillibrand.
Senator, you're wasting our time. This is not middle school.
Thank you for your participation. I will say that Senator Smith is next. The floor is yours.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So, not so long ago.
All right, we're back. You've seen the whole thing. Let's get into it. Senator Kennedy. I want to give this man his credit because what he did in that hearing is rarer than it should be. He walked into a room full of industry insiders and academics and said out loud what most people in Congress are too proud or too paid to admit. We don't know enough, and we might get this completely wrong. That kind of honesty in Washington is almost unheard of. Think about what he pointed out. Congress has had years to figure out basic internet privacy legislation. Years. And they still haven't done it. So now we're supposed to trust those same people to regulate one of the most complex financial technologies ever built? Kennedy looked that reality in the eye and didn't flinch. And that line about the internet looking like somebody knocked over a urine sample? It's funny, sure. But the point underneath it is completely serious. When you let an industry write its own rules, you get rules that serve the industry. We've seen it happen. Kennedy was saying let's not do that again. His exchange with Professor Massad also deserves more attention than it's going to get. Kennedy was genuinely working through the hard questions. Should the SEC lead on this? How do we define what's a security versus a commodity? Should Congress just set broad principles and let the agencies handle the details? Those are the right questions. And the fact that he was willing to sit with the complexity instead of pretending he had all the answers, that's actually what good lawmaking looks like. Then we get to Richard Painter. Look, the concern about crypto money flowing into Congress is legitimate. Those contributions are real, and they're worth scrutinizing. But there's a difference between saying these donations raise questions and implying specific named senators are corrupt. One is accountability, the other is a smear. Painter was walking that line and refused to own it when pushed. Kennedy pushed back hard. And honestly, I get it. Did he call Painter a whack job on the record in the United States Senate? Yes, he did. Is that the most professional moment in congressional history?
No.
But after watching Painter dodge and deflect and lecture over and over again, the frustration makes sense. Kennedy wasn't losing it for no reason. He watched a witness turn a serious hearing into a personal soapbox and said enough. What I respect most about Kennedy here is that he never pretended to be above the problem. He admitted Congress is behind, that they might mess this up, and that they need to be careful. In a room full of people performing confidence, that might have been the most competent thing anyone said all day. Crypto regulation is coming, it has to. The question is whether Congress handles it with the honesty Kennedy showed today, or whether it ends up as 236 pages of fine print written to benefit whoever had the bigger checkbook. I know which version I'm worried about. And I think Kennedy does too. If this made you think, share it around. These hearings happen every week, and almost nobody watches them. Drop your take in the comments. Did Kennedy have a point, or did he go too far? I want to know what you think. See you in the next one.